One word. One hypnotist, Chris Jones. Chris Jones. One word. The One Word Chris Jones podcast this month talking about the word marriage. The cool thing about our podcast, Chris, is that we have a chance to kick back and BS every month just about different topics. And you know, a lot of times we pick things that are new to you or I. And this month you got married.
I did. It was great service, and you know, I talk in front of people for a living, but I woke up the day before the wedding and I was nervous. Like, I thought, like, how can I avoid this? Not marrying her, but I was like, how can I avoid being in front of people and having to say words? And I don't want to put on the suit and stand in front of people, but it was all fantastic in the end.
You know, I saw pictures on Facebook, and what a beautiful bride. You looked great as well. Looked like it was a great day and a great ceremony. So I got to tell you, when I got married in a Catholic church, and the priest, you know, was going through the service, and I don't know, he said something, and I was just like you. I was super nervous, and I stopped, and I'm like, what did you just say?
Right, yes.
And the whole congregation started laughing, and at that moment, I was myself. You know what I mean? So then after that, I felt comfortable.
Good.
But prior to that, man, I was like you shaking in my boots.
Yeah. Only after the service was over and the receiving line where everyone like shakes your hand did I say, okay, I'm myself again. Like, everyone's in line for drinks now, and I'm like, I did it. Like, the hard part's over. I did it.
So did it go as you expected it to go?
More or less. My aunt was a minister, which was pretty cool, and it was very spiritual and not religious. My request was that people in the audience, our friends and family, would put their hands up as we put a blessing over us. And because Stacy was raised Baptist, but was never baptized. And I was raised Catholic, and we did not have it in the church. But the other cool thing is we had it at the South Shore Cultural Center, which is now Chicago Park. It used to be a country club, and when it was a country club, it was Protestant. They wouldn't allow blacks or Jews.
Really?
Yeah. So the fact that I can marry a white woman, I could have my Jewish friends there, in a place where they would not allow us before, made me feel wonderful. But let's focus on the love. And the love is day number 5 being married.
So let me ask this. Okay, day number 5 of being married, and you take time out of your just got married schedule to BS with me. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
You're my friend. I got my Bob Schmidt. No, and here's the beautiful thing. My wife's at work right now.
Oh, really?
We got married on a Saturday. We had Sunday to recover and relax, and then Monday she started a new job.
I actually saw that on Facebook. I thought it was maybe just updating stuff. So she started a new job on Monday, huh?
Yeah.
So
a new job.
Are you guys doing a honeymoon?
Yeah. First week of August, before I get busy with my tour, we are going places. Where are we going? We're going from Chicago to Spain. We pick up a cruise, and then we got 7 days, go to France, Ibiza, somewhere else, and then we fly out of Rome. We'll have to make no decisions. We just need to get our bodies there and then be together.
That's awesome. So how long are you guys gone?
7 days, 8 nights, something like that.
So when you do things like that, when you go on trips that are personal trips, do you drop the hypnotist card so that way you can use it as a write-off?
That's a good point. No, I use this on a typical credit card. Yes, I might say, hey, you should hire me because I'm a hypnotist and I could work your cruise ship. That's real.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting into photography now, and I hopefully will write off some things as a photographer.
I saw some of the pictures that you took when you guys were in Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska was great. You cannot take a bad photo in Alaska.
I don't know.
Everything there is beautiful.
You never had me as a subject.
That's fine. You would look sexy in Alaska. I get you on some rocks. Have you take off your shirt, be next to a polar bear?
Yeah, next to a polar bear.
These are my friends. Yeah, they like Coca-Cola. I've seen a documentary.
That's fun. That makes me laugh. I just want to say that you were talking earlier. You mentioned you said let's share the love, and I got to tell you, the other day I was having a crappy day. Okay, and I got a text from my buddy Chris Jones. Who said you're a fantastic person. That's all it said. And
it's true.
I just wanted to tell you that was the day that I needed to hear that, and so I appreciate that.
Wow. Do
It's
you think people are a little bit psychic like that?
I wonder about that sometimes. I wonder if somebody just some people just know when to reach out and just to spread the joy or whatever. Do you think that's the case?
Well, routinely, if I call my dad, it's like, oh, wow, I just thought you up. And it's like, oh, yeah. But he can also tell him, it's like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, well, I got this thought. With him, he psychic with my dad for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for dropping that note because
absolutely,
I was just having one of those days where it's like, gah, and just opening up my text, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. So honeymoon's coming up. Pretty excited about that. I can hear it in your voice. Work season's coming up for you too. Is that going to be hard for you to leave your new bride when you go travel?
Honestly, we've been in a routine where it's okay. The only thing is I will miss the dogs a great deal because I won't see them for like 4 or 5 days at a time. Stacey and I can FaceTime. We can talk on the phone, but I'll miss the dogs.
You can have bark time.
I love her, period. But I like the habit of walking the dogs in the morning, walking them at night.
So what else are the plans for the rest of the summer, Chris?
Relax as much as I can on the honeymoon. Stacey has a new job with new great benefits, so once her insurance kicks in, we'll think about having kids.
Nice.
We'll work on it.
Now, is that something that you've always wanted to have kids?
God, no. I wanted to be a priest. I didn't want to have my own kids. I thought I wasn't healthy enough. I didn't want that burden. And it's weird because I like kids a great deal. I'm pretty good with them, but no, only recent development.
Huh.
I think life is too long if you're not going to have a child. You can teach without a doubt. That's having children.
Uh-huh.
You could be a nurse. That's having children. But if you're not leaving something better than yourself, I think life is a little too long for that.
I think you're right with that, and I think a lot of it has to do with you found the right person. I think that the love that you have with Stacey probably made you think that what, I can do this. We can do this. We can be pretty good parents.
Yeah, hopefully. I have faith.
Right.
There's a good balance to us.
Well, and that what, honestly, that's part of the deal. I think that you have to have the yin and the yang, and you have to balance each other out. And we've talked about that in the past. I don't know if we talked about it on the radio or on the podcast, but I mean, just when we sat in BS, we've talked about that in the past.
And she's met you, and vice versa. You see how she fills my gaps.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, I do. Is her new job? Is it doing the same thing she was doing with the Chicago school kids, inner city kids?
So before she worked kind of this after school program, and she had insane hours where it'd be like she had to be there at 10, but then she'd not get home till 7:30 because again it was largely after school. And now she's working predominantly in the school, and it looks like half day Fridays, which is pretty great. And she's she's so confused. She's like, I don't get it. I'm getting paid more money and working less hours. I'm like, yeah, baby, that's how life works as you get older. Like, as an entertainer, you work a lot less than people who have a punch card. Mm-hmm. She's like, I feel like I'm cheating. I'm like, but you're not. That's all it is.
Well,
that's pretty cool.
Let's step and look at what you just said about it. As an entertainer, you work less than you do as somebody that punches a time card. I'm guessing that you've paid your dues. You've had to learn how to do stuff. You do a lot of travel. You spend a lot of time on the road. You do a lot, And so
that's true.
You
pay by being away from your family.
Exactly.
That's the real currency.
And plus, you're staying in hotels. You're eating crappy food sometimes. But then at the same time, you also get to do some really cool things that a lot of other people don't get a chance to do.
Yeah. Oh, I get to go to Alaska where it's beautiful, but I went 3 times, and on the 3rd time, I was like, this is now lonely. The 4th time, I took my cousin Brandon, and that was a lot more fun.
Now, isn't it funny how just exactly what you just said? So, you have the chance to do some pretty extraordinary things, and you do them so often that they become routine and bored. Isn't that weird to you?
Yeah. And that's kind of why, I don't know, the idea of living in heaven seems kind of boring. Like after the first 100 years of eternity, you're like, I've done everything. Like, I don't think heaven is a perfect place. I think you're like, all right, you know, it's kind of like being alive now. Time to help other people. Whew, this child needs some help. Okay. All right, let's get after it. Like, I bet you get stressed in heaven.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Because only in, like, if there is a hell, it's probably where you don't care about other people.
Right.
And you walk around not helping people, not being a service to other people.
From what you just said right there, do you think that sometimes that some people's hell is living right now in today's world?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Kind of deep there, isn't it? I mean, we always take some deep turns, I think.
We do. I told Stacy about this, and her being a social worker, she was like way ahead of the joke / the moral. A minister friend of mine, he was giving a homily, and he said, hell is like this. You're at a banquet, and the food is beautiful, and there's every drink and every food, and the table's laid out, and everyone has a seat. The only problem is your elbow doesn't bend. You have arms that are 12 feet long. So you can grab the beautiful food and the wonderful drink, but you can't put it towards your mouth because your arms won't bend. Heaven, exact same thing. There's room for everyone at the table. There's food, there's drink. Same quality of food. Same 12 feet arm. The only problem is everyone's happy because they're feeding one another.
It's all perspective, I guess.
Yeah, or looking at someone else being just as important as you or more important than you. Oh, and I bring all that to say, before I got married, I see my dad, and we're in this room together getting ready with my friends from college and my cousin Brandon, who's one of my best men. And I look at Dad and say, hey, Dad, are you going to cry? And he goes, oh, almost certainly, son. And I saw his eyes get water, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. And then for the speech, he put his hand on my shoulder. I'm sitting next to Stacy, and he starts saying how much he loves my older sister. And he tells the story of her being born. And this is back in the old days when men weren't allowed to be in the operating room when children were being born. So he's sitting in the waiting room watching horrible soap operas, waiting. And he's getting more and more angry. And then they're like, okay, you can have her. And he's holding my sister, and he's so upset because he couldn't be there to help my mom and help my sister. And then he's like, it's okay. Like, you're holding her right now. Enjoy this moment. And he says, sometimes my daughter might think I'm upset with her because I always hug my son. That's just because he's always on the road. When I get to see him, I'm always happy to see him. But we live together. But if there's ever a second, Lauren, you think I don't love you as much as my son in front of 200 people today, that is never and will never be the case. You will always be my baby girl, my firstborn. And I am very happy for him doing that. I had no idea he was going to do that. I would change nothing about that. People are like, dude, your wedding, your dad's bragging about your sister. I was like, no. That is perfect. That's what I want.
Actually, when you said that your dad said, without a doubt, son, I could picture your dad. I could picture your father saying that. Just in the in the time that I had when I met him, I could see your father saying that. And wow, he's a good man, that's for sure. And he had good kids, you know. And I think that's part of the thing. And I think that that you'll be a great father. I think that Stacy will be a great mother. I think that you guys have a great life ahead of you guys.
I think marriage is feeding the other person. As an expert on marriage of 5 days, you got to feed the other person.
Hey, you've made it longer than a lot of people.
That's true.
Hey,
my therapist made it 7 days, so I need to beat her. I'm not exaggerating.
Are you kidding me?
I saw a therapist leading up to it.
Right.
And she's like, marriage is this, marriage is. I was like, all right. Oh, that's our time. I'm like, have you been married? She's like, yeah. I'm like, this is for 7 days. And I was like, then why am I coming to you for advice?
Because she knows.
Yeah.
Hey, how do we get a hold of you, Chris?
HypnotistChrisJones.com. That's the only one I'm doing now that I'm married. Forget Facebook, forget Instagram, Twitter. Put down your phones and drive. And when you're in front of a computer, check out HypnotistChrisJones.com.
Find entertainer and hypnotist Chris Jones at HypnotistChrisJones.com. The One Word Chris Jones Podcast, a podcast for hire production.